In the heart of a quiet English town, nestled along a foggy coastal road, stood Mel's Diner, a relic from the 1950s with its checkered floors and neon signs flickering like distant stars. Sarah, a young waitress with curly brown hair tied in a ponytail, wiped down the counter, her blue uniform crisp despite the long shift. The bell above the door jingled softly as a group of rowdy men burst in, their accents thick with London grit, leather jackets patched with Union Jack flags and crude slogans. They were the East End thugs, known for stirring trouble in pubs and back alleys, led by Mick, a burly bloke with a shaved head and a scar across his cheek. Sarah forced a smile, grabbing menus, but her stomach twisted as their eyes lingered too long, hungry not for food but for chaos. The thugs claimed a corner booth, boots thudding on the vinyl seats, laughing loud enough to drown the hum of the old jukebox playing Elvis tunes. "Oi, love, fetch us some pints and make 'em frothy," Mick barked. His mates, Tommy, with his gold tooth glinting, and Big Dave, tattoos snaking up his neck, echoing with jeers. Sarah nodded politely, pouring drinks with steady hands honed from years of diffusing tempers, but as she set the glasses down, Tommy's hand brushed her wrist, lingering like a bad omen. "What's a pretty bird like you doin' in a dump like this?" he slurred, the others chuckling as she pulled away, cheeks flushing. The diner, usually a haven for truckers and locals, felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken threats. As the evening wore on, the harassment simmered into a boil. Mick leaned back, spilling beer deliberately on the table, demanding Sarah clean it up while his foot hooked her ankle under the booth. "Clumsy lass, ain't ya? Come sit with us proper," he growled, his voice low and menacing. The other patrons, a lone fisherman nursing coffee, an elderly couple sharing pie, averted their eyes, the weight of fear pinning them silent. Sarah's heart raced, tears pricking her eyes as Tommy catcalled, mimicking her walk with exaggerated hips, the group erupting in guttural laughs. She retreated to the kitchen, hands trembling on the order pad, whispering to the cook, "Just serve 'em quick and pray they leave." But the thugs grew bolder, their voices rising like a storm tide. Big Dave stood, towering over Sarah as she refilled waters, his breath hot with ale. "Fancy a ride on me bike later, sweetheart. I'll show ya real English hospitality," he leered, grabbing her apron string and yanking her closer. She stumbled, a gasp escaping, the fabric tearing slightly at the seam. Mick slapped the table, coins scattering like shrapnel. "Pay up." "Nah, we'll settle with a kiss instead." The diner's warmth turned cloying, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry wasps. Sarah's mind flashed to her daughter waiting at home, the reason she endured this grind, fueling her resolve to stand firm yet flee if needed. Tension coiled tighter when Mick snatched Sarah's notepad, doodling crude sketches and tossing it back with a wink. "Sign it for us, yeah. Your fan club." Laughter boomed, but beneath it lurked something darker, the kind that left bruises unseen. Sarah's voice cracked as she mustered, "Gentlemen, please, just enjoy your meal," but Tommy mimicked her plea in a falsetto, the mockery slicing deeper than words. The door creaked open then, a gust of salty sea air rushing in, but it was only the wind teasing hope. She glanced at the clock, closing in an hour, willing time to bend, her hands clammy on the coffee pot as she poured refills with mechanical grace. Suddenly, the bell rang again, heavier this time, like thunder rolling in from the horizon. In strode a pack of bikers, engines still rumbling faintly outside, their Harleys lined like iron steeds. These weren't local lads, they were the Iron Wolves, a nomadic crew from the Midlands, vests emblazoned with snarling wolf patches, beards wild and eyes sharp from roads less traveled. Led by grizzled jacks, with a salt and pepper mane and a badge pinned proudly, they scanned the room, sensing the rot like wolves on the wind. Sarah exhaled shakily, plating their orders, burgers rare, fries crisp, hoping their presence might dilute the thugs, venom without igniting a blaze. The bikers settled at the counter, Jax's deep voice rumbling a simple, "Thanks, miss," as Sarah slid plates over, his gaze catching the tremor in her fingers. Across the diner, the thugs quieted momentarily, sizing up the newcomers with narrowed eyes, Mick muttering, "Bloody tin cowboys think they own the tarmac." But the wolves ignored them at first, digging into food with road-weary gusto, tales of twisty lanes exchanged in low growls. Yet Jax's ear twitched at a fresh jeer from Tommy, "Oi, biker wankers, this ain't your tea party," and the air crackled, forks pausing midair as unspoken lines were drawn in the grease-slicked floor. Emboldened by liquid courage, Mick rose, swaggering toward the counter, a pint sloshing in hhis fist. What's this then? A bleed-in convention of hairy asses. He loomed over Jax, but the biker didn't flinch, slowly chewing as if savoring the moment. Sarah froze behind the register, pulse thundering, the red circle on her apron, where Tommy had pinned a lewd note earlier, burning like a brand. The wolves shifted subtly, chairs scraping, their brotherhood a silent shield. Easy, mate, Jax rumbled, voice like gravel under tires, we're just eatin'. You lot finish your pints and bugger off home. Laughter from the thugs, but edged now, brittle as cracking ice. The standoff shattered when Big Dave lunged, shoving Jax's shoulder, beer foam flying. Chaos erupted in a blur, fists flying, tables overturning, the jukebox skipping mid-note. Sarah ducked behind the counter, shards of glass tinkling like fallen stars, as the wolves moved with feral precision, one pinning Tommy against the wall with a forearm like rebar, another disarming Mick's wild swing with a twist that cracked like thunder. Punches landed with meaty thuds, grunts echoing off chrome edges, but the bikers fought clean, defending not dominating. Jax hauled Sarah to safety, his massive hand gentle on her arm. Stay low, lass. We've got this. The thugs, bloodied and bellowing, scrambled for the door, pride in tatters. As the dust settled, the diner bore scars, spilled salt like snow, a chair leg splintered, but the air lightened, tension bleeding out like ink in water. The wolves righted tables, Jax tipping generously with a wink that crinkled his weathered face. Next round's on us, for the show, he chuckled to Sarah, who wiped tears with her apron, gratitude swelling in her chest like dawn-breaking fog. The thugs' taillights vanished into the night, engines whining in defeat, while the bikers revved theirs in victory, wolves howling farewell. Sarah locked the door, the bells chime now a song of solace, knowing chivalry still roared on leather-clad backs, turning harassment's shadow into legend's light.